All right, kindergartners. So today we're doing the Quiet Quilting Queen. I have here a quilt that Ben made about a year ago. So you can see how it's made of different pieces of fabric, you know, all stitched together, scraps from different stuff. You put it together, and then you can make a whole big blanket out of it. So when we make our Quiet Quilting Queen today, she's going to be wearing a quilt. So you're going to need a lot of different colors to be able to make her. Now, my computer's getting a little tired making videos, so I'm going to be not doing the whole thing while you see it like I have been trying to do. I'm going to do the border and then turn it on, and then we'll do the queue and we'll start making some of the parts, but I'll probably do a little bit separate from the video. So this should be a video where you'll need to pause to do some things, because that's basically what I'm doing too. So crayons and paper, and we'll get started. Alright guys, so I've done my border, and you can see here I am starting my big curve to bottom. Remember, Q is one of those Magic C capital and Magic C lowercase letters, like a G and an O. We start with a C here, and we do our big curve down to the bottom, and of course she's the queen, so we're going to be putting a head and a crown on her. So we need some space up at the top. So here's my big curve around to the bottom, and then I'm going to continue my big curve back around up to the top, right? And then I don't know if you remember this, but back at the very beginning of our story, back in August, when we first started talking about the prince and his troubles and the king and the queen worrying about what to do, you know, the queen wanted to always be prepared to help people. That's why she was making those quilts all the time. But one of the things she did to be prepared to help people was she carried an umbrella everywhere she went. Then she was ready for rain. She was ready if they needed some shade, if they were somewhere really hot, or maybe they were trying to do some stitching outside and maybe it was hard to see in bright sunshine. So here we are, big curve around to the top. And then the last part of the queue is actually her umbrella. I'm going to even out my curves here just a little bit. Can you see it looks wider on that side than this side? So I'm going to even this out, and then we will get her umbrella put in there. Alright, so here is this part of my queue, and now her umbrella is the little line in the queue. I suppose also if somebody was trying to hurt someone else, she could keep her umbrella folded up and get them. Now sometimes when we're talking with pre-K students about this, they like to actually draw the whole rest of the umbrella. So if you wish to do that, you may. It just looks like this, to have a little umbrella there. Now we're going to put in her head, we're going to put in the quilt that she's wearing. So I'm going to choose 4 different colors to make my quilt pieces out of. I have red, blue, yellow, and green. You can choose whatever colors you want. You could choose more than 4 if you want to, but 4 usually is a good number to be able to make some squares. So I'm actually going to start across the middle, because this is sort of my widest spot. And I'm going to start making kind of a reddish, it's not exactly a square, right? But a reddish sort of square piece right here. And then I'll make a bluish one. And then I'll put a green one. And if I'd kept orange out, I think I actually have room for another one, but that's alright. I'll do yellow again. And then I'll put red again. Now, when I color the rest of my quilt pieces, I'm going to do it in a pattern just because I like to do it that way. You don't have to, but that's what I'm going to do. So here where I have a blue one and I have red right there, I'm going to put a red one on top. And then I'm going to do my colors across in the same order. So I had a blue one there, so I'll put a blue one on top of the green one. And then I had a green one there, so I'll put a green one on top of the yellow one. And the yellow one will go on top of this last red one. Now you might already see that I have a problem right here because my next color would be red and I don't want to put a red one on top of a red one. So I'll just put another yellow one right there. Alright, so I'll go back the other way now. This is my green one here and my blue one here and my red one right here. And then I'll put yellow here. And I'll have a little tiny green one right there. Alright, so here I have blue. I'm going to keep going with some blue over here. And then I'll put some green. And yellow, and I'm going to have to work a red patch around that umbrella, aren't I? So I'm not going to scribble on top of my umbrella, but I kind of imagine where the red would be underneath the umbrella there. And then again, I'm going to not do two reds in a row. I'll add a blue one over here. Alright, then I just need to fill these last ones in, and then I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do extra here, because I like to make it look a little bit more like she's actually wearing a dress, rather than having it all round across the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and add in just a little bit down here and down here to sort of finish it off. So when I look at this and I kind of imagine, I think, well, right here would probably be, let's see, a little green right here, right? And then maybe some yellow right here, finishing off that yellow square. And then maybe a little bit of blue right here to finish off a blue square. And maybe more green. Is that the pattern I had? I think so. Alright, and then you see how it's kind of more like there's a whole dress here. It's not a big deal. You can do it or not do it. I see it's kind of hard with the lighting to even tell that it's there. But that's alright. So I'm going to switch now to some colors for her head and her hair and her crown. So I'm still going to need my nice yellow. And I'm going to get the apricot color and the brown to mix those together. And then I'm going to get some black also to mix in with her hair, except my black is broken and I can't get it out right now. So I'll go ahead and give her gray, because maybe she's a little bit older like I am and has some gray hairs up there. So I'm going to start here with just a really light colored circle for her head. And then I'm going to use the yellow to really put in the line of her crown. And I'm going to make it kind of a tall crown. You don't have to do this, but a lot of times students have liked to put jewels on her crown. So I'll give her maybe a red jewel, and a blue jewel, and a green jewel, you know, because she's the queen. So her crown might be pretty fancy. Alright, oops, and you know I've talked before about how sometimes the crayon colors smear. That's alright, I don't want it to happen, but it's okay. So I'm going to add just a little bit of brown on her face to make her have more of a normal sort of skin color. And then I'm going to put more brown over here for her hair. And add in, not some black this time, but some gray for her hair. I'll decide her hair is a little bit like mine. Alright, there she is, the Quiet Quilting Queen. Now, her face looks like she has no chin. I'm going to add in a little there. Okay. I'm going to pause the video and put in my background, because it'll make our video a little bit shorter and my computer will like that. And then once the background is finished, I'll turn the video back on so that you can see what it all looks like at the end, and know that I'm not cutting corners. I am coloring my whole background, just like you should do. And then that'll be the end. So go ahead, pause your video, and finish up your queen in your background also. All right, my friends, there is my quiet quilting queen. Put her somewhere safe, along with all your other pictures that you've done. And in just a few more weeks, we'll have our alphabet book all done.